NFL football players come from all places and backgrounds. Their route to the league is often a circuitous one. Sometimes that journey has a direct connection to history. That's the case for safety Charlie Peprah, whose maternal grandfather once led the African country of Ghana.
Actually, just recently, my uncle, her brother, had a book written, about the life and times of General Ignatius Kutu Acheampong. And so there's more that's coming to light that I never knew growing up, stuff that my parents didn't even know growing up, because of how it all played out. The person who came to power, removed him from office, and executed his. So I'll start with telling you the quick synopsis. So he was the head of state in 1972 to 77. He came to power. He staged a bloodless coup, a takeover. It was bloodless, no lives were lost. He ran the country, set up some programs that are still intact to this day that propelled the country forward for economic prosperity. And his own people eventually turned on him. They got power hungry. They turned on him, put him on house arrest. He went back to the village for about 2 years, from about 77 to 79. But then another individual called General Rawlings, J.J. Rawlings, he arose from the military. He took over. He staged a coup, but his was a little bit more totalitarian. He took over, and what he did is he called his coup the coup to end all coups. And so he gathered everybody up, past, present, that had anything to do with coups, and he executed them.
Wow.
And so my grandfather had been removed. He had nothing to do with the country for about 2 years, and gathered him and his generals up, took them to the stakes and executed them. And that's when my family had to flee, and I ended up in the United States. But a book is getting written now about all that stuff because people are now feeling comfortable to come out and speak the truth, because General Rawlings just gave power back like 10, 15 years ago, and people were scared to say anything. But now he's kind of in the past, in the shadows, and people are speaking.
Your grandfather, how much did your mom tell you about him? Was he much a part of your life?
You know, like I said, he passed obviously before I was born. I was born in '83. He passed in '79. But she would tell me, quite a bit, that I reminded her of him, and just my attitude, I think, and just my personality as far as just my competitiveness and everything like that. But it really affected her. She was, it changed the trajectory of her life, obviously. Mm-hmm. And whenever we would go back and visit, and General Rawlings was on TV, she had some things to say to the TV, and it wasn't only until I got older I kind of, found out a little bit more the politics and stuff of it. But he meant a lot to her, and I think she's just proud of what we've been able to accomplish despite everything she's gone through, and so that makes her happy.
Charlie was a fifth-round draft pick of the Giants in 2006. Cut after training camp, he made his way to Green Bay, then Atlanta, before returning to the Packers in 2010. That's where he struck Super Bowl gold.
That was a season of attrition. We had a lot of injuries. Our roster was so deep, and I don't think at that time it was appreciated, the type of guys they had on the roster, until they kept plugging guys in and we kept going. We lost a lot of close games. Yeah. So a lot of that kind of got overlooked because we lost 6, maybe even 7. I forget how many games we lost by 3 points or less. So we didn't look as good as we were, and but I remember when I ended up getting the starting job after Morgan Burnett got injured, they traded for Anthony Smith. And so I was like, okay, they might not have a lot of confidence in me, but I stepped up and did what I had to do and held on to the job. And Anthony Smith, when he came over from the Jaguars, he was like, listen, he was at Pittsburgh before when they won the Super Bowl. He's like, listen, you guys have a Super Bowl team, and we kind of knew it, but we just couldn't get things going. And after the Jets game, it was a pivotal game for us. We beat the Jets to kind of give us a chance to make it to the postseason, and we just never looked back after that. But that year showed how deep our roster was, and we just never gave up. We just kept fighting, and then we got hot, and the rest is history.
Charlie, you had a huge Super Bowl game. Tell us about that, and being able to step up on that stage before family and friends who were there, and tell us a little bit about what that meant.
That was awesome, being from Dallas, getting to play at home in front of my friends and family. That was great. Being the leading tackler, so I was able to not just play but contribute. Had an impact in the game, so that was cool. Something I'll never forget, and just something they can't take away from us.
You played with a great leader on that football team, Charles Woodson. What did he impart on you? What did you take from him and his game and the way he went about business?
He took my game to another level, just indirectly. He was a corner, I was a safety, but we would meet separately most of the time. But when we would come together, just how he approached the game, he taught me how to watch film, how to understand personnel, situational football, just instincts. He's probably the best player that I've played with. The things he was able to do at his size, weight and speed, and just the intellectual aspect of the game that he brought to all of us. He made Tremont a better player. He made everybody in that defensive backfield a better player. Really the whole defense, because everybody wanted to raise to his level and make plays, but his impact on me was huge.
In the next year, you went on and had a career year, right? Had 5 interceptions.
Yeah, statistically.
Did you believe in momentum from like that Super Bowl? Did that give you the kind of confidence that maybe you didn't have before and carried into the next year?
I think so. I always had that confidence, but I think it gave, people in the organization, people around me more confidence in me, and the whole team was confident that we could do this again. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for us that way, but, just when we stepped on the field, it was, okay, how are we going to win today? It wasn't, oh, do we got a chance? It was, we knew we were going to win. It's just how was it going to play out today? That was the mindset. So the confidence was sky high. That was a good season. We just didn't get to put the stamp on and finish it. That was unfortunate, but it was a good season.
After his playing days, Charlie dabbed in the scouting business under the legendary general manager, Ted Thompson.
Oh, it was amazing. I still love it. I probably will get back into it. I got, 30 acres and animals and 2 kids, and being a college scout, being on the road isn't really feasible at that time in my life. So, kind of had to park it, but I will get back into it. But evaluating, watching film is something I love. It was natural to me, something I was really good at and I loved. And that's something that I will get back into in the future.
This weekend that you're here, that we're taping this interview, they're honoring Ted Thompson. They're going to put his name up on the ring here at Lambeau Field. What did you take from him? What did he teach you specifically?
What I got from Ted, who didn't talk a whole lot, I just noticed how he would stay the course on things. Like, he would have a plan at the beginning, and despite all the noise, the turbulence, and whatever, naysayers, adversity, he stuck with his plan, and it always persevered at the end, and that was one thing that I noticed that I would make sure that I would ever do if I ever became a decision maker. You have your plan, and you're gonna take punches and lumps and things are gonna happen, but he just would stick with his plan just regardless of what people would have to say, and it would work out most of the time, so.
Okay, I've got something for you here. If you're looking for a great piece of trivia to impress your Packers friends at the next tailgate, try this. Who led the Packers in tackles in Super Bowl 45 in Dallas? You just heard the answer to that question. Texas native Charlie Peprah, who had 10 total tackles, 9 solo, to lead the Green Bay defense that day.